Hierarchical organizations play an integral role in all aspects of our society today. The leaders and governments we elect make policies that may or may not be favorable to us. CEOs and board members take strategic decisions without consulting the employees that those decisions would affect. As the organizations get larger, their hierarchies grow deeper. So much so that more than 90% of employees who put in the groundwork to make an organization successful have no say in its growth or direction. Worse, growth decisions are often made at the expense of these very employees. It's no surprise then that researchers and thought leaders have spent years trying to test new forms of organizational frameworks. While most such attempts failed before they could ever lift off, the advent of blockchains brought forward a new framework that has caught the world by storm. This new structure is called Decentralized Autonomous Organization, or simply a DAO. Welcome to Leapfrog, a channel dedicated to making animated explainer videos, simplifying crypto and decentralized finance. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our future videos explaining the magic behind the scenes of crypto. What are DAOs? DAO is an acronym that stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. That definition is a mouthful, so let's break it down. Decentralized means that there is no central authority taking decisions in a silo. All community members take part in all policies and governance decisions. Autonomous means that the rules, once defined, are executed by immutable code. This means that several organizational operations, which would otherwise require human intervention, are instead run autonomously by smart contracts. If you don't know what smart contracts are, we explained them in a previous video. You can find the link to that in the description. To better understand how DAOs work, let's take a look at the various steps involved in creating a DAO from scratch. A DAO starts off with a bunch of core members who have a shared idea. These members set the foundational framework for the functioning of the DAO using smart contracts. Once published, the smart contract automatically administers the various operations of the organization. The rules set in the smart contract can only be changed by a community vote. Who gets to be a part of the community and vote? The DAO issues crypto tokens, which can be purchased by anyone to signify their membership in the DAO. This serves two purposes. One, it helps the DAO raise funding for its treasury operations. Two, it allows anyone who shares the same interests and ideas as the DAO to be an active contributor in its growth and decision-making. Once the funding has been completed, community members make proposals to the DAO on how to spend the money in the treasury. All members get to vote on each proposal, and the proposals that pass are implemented and included in the smart contract. And that is how DAOs work. DAOs have several benefits over the traditional organizations. Aligned incentives. In traditional organizations, incentives of the employees and the companies aren't exactly aligned, as the salaries are a huge part of the cost to the company. In DAOs, all the members work towards accruing more value to the tokens of the DAO. More value of the tokens, higher the wealth for the token owners. Thus, incentives are aligned. Low barriers to access. Most traditional organizations have long, drawn-out interview process. In contrast, to get involved in the running of a DAO, all one has to do is buy some tokens and start making and voting on proposals. Immutability. Because DAOs are administered by smart contracts on a blockchain, they cannot be shut down or censored by the government. Once the smart contract goes live, it will always operate according to the rules coded into it, even if the founding team leaves the DAO. In the past few years, several DAOs have emerged based on diverse ideas. Most of these ideas can be bucketed into 5 broad categories. Protocol DAOs, like MakerDAO, focus on the governance of decentralized protocols. Investment DAOs, like BitDAO, collect and invest funds as a group. Service DAOs, like Raid Guild, provide specific services like graphic designing, ghostwriting, etc. Social DAOs, like the Friends with Benefits DAO, focus on building a solid network for people to interact. And media DAOs, like Bankless DAO, help in enhancing the interaction between creators and consumers. This is, however, not an exhaustive list, and several other types of DAOs have also been formed and implemented over the years. While these DAOs provide several benefits, at least on paper, over the existing traditional organizations, they also have some downsides. Regulatory issues. The legal treatment of governance tokens as securities still stands on shaky grounds. The DAO dilemma. DAOs have been facing difficulty scaling without compromising decentralization. As more and more people join the community, decision-making becomes tougher. Passive users. Most DAOs report that participation in governance and voting is often less than 10%. This means most of the time the core team ends up doing all the work, even if the DAO community is huge. Vulnerability to hacks. Because the DAO smart contracts are open source and available on a blockchain, they are vulnerable to hacks by people who are looking to steal the treasury money. To conclude, DAOs provide the future for an open economy. If implemented correctly and with active community members, they provide several improvements over the traditional organizations. However, in their current form, they face several challenges which often render them ineffective. These are early days, and it remains to be seen if DAOs are the final form of governance on the blockchain. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed watching this, let us know your thoughts in the comments below.